everyone. Thanks for tuning into Sin's Workshop. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, today we're going to be reviewing I Killed the King by Andrea Hanna and Rebecca Mason. I almost switched their last names. This was an interesting novel. It's definitely unique, and I did like that it was unique. It's Knives Out meets fantasy, and I love Knives Out mainly because I love Clue. I absolutely love the Clue movie, and I haven't seen the latest Knives Out movie, but I've loved the previous two. I'm excited, whenever there's a new Knives Out movie, I'm like, yes, please sign me up. I love whodunits. I really, really do. It's part of why I like cozy mysteries so much, because I love whodunits, and I've never read a whodunit set in a fantasy world before, so that was really unique to me. That's what's really grabbed me. You have your 6 players. You have the prince, the foreign princess, the guard, assassin, necromancer, masquerading as a healer, and then you have the beastmaster. So you have your 6 people, right? And they're at the castle, and it's a dark and stormy night, of course. And it's a masquerade ball because they're finally brokering peace between the two kingdoms. So they're in the room with the king. Darkness falls. Darkness disappears, more or less, and the king is dead. Who killed the king? They're all suspects. So it was really interesting. I will say, I think I wanted a little bit more characterization, though, and a little bit more character depth to these characters, because I wasn't fully invested in who they were. I was invested in the mystery and the whodunit, and for that sake, I'll give it, the book is a solid 3 stars. I just wanted to love it more than I did, and I really couldn't, because I couldn't attach myself to these characters, You're going between all of their POVs, and you do get to know them, kind of, sort of. But I felt like it was lacking some depth to their characterization and their character dynamics. I wasn't given a reason to why I should be invested in who they are. Who are these players? I wasn't wholly invested in who they were and the roles that they played in this murder, because they all kind of did play a role in the murder, unbeknownst to themselves. And I liked the mystery of how that evolved, I liked how all of their fates were kind of tied together for the ultimate reveal at the end, which, by the way, another reason why the book does get a solid 3 stars is because that culprit wasn't even on my radar. And I like when a book does that and catches me off guard and just makes me want to reread the book to see, can I see all of the foreshadowing to this reveal. And there is some foreshadowing to the ultimate reveal. I think our necromancer and our beast trader are the 2 characters that get the most amount of characterization and character depth. I feel like second to them would be the foreign princess, ultimately. And I felt like everyone else was just kind of there, I wasn't really emotionally attached to them. I really wasn't invested in them. I was solely focused on the mystery and the whodunit aspect of the story, because it does read like a whodunit. And even the fantasy element of the story, it's there, but it doesn't take center stage, It's more of in the background, more with the setting, more with the mythology that's in the world, not so much with the characters having powers. Your necromancer, who is kind of masquerading as a healer, they are the one that has the most fantasy, along with the beastmaster, because they can actually communicate to beasts. So I think that's why those 2 characters really stood out to me the most, because they had the fantastical element tied to their core being, you know, and it evolved their characters, so to speak. But as for everyone else, they were kind of just background noise. I wasn't really wholly invested in them. I was really, again, just more focused on the story, which I do think was well written. I do think it was well written. I think that there are some pacing issues with the story, though. There are some times when it lags just a little bit too much. But for the most part, it is well paced. It is a well thought out story, especially if you like whodunits, you know? It's a whodunit with some fantastical elements tied to it and a lot of mythology that gets developed more so in the last half of the book because it ties to the murder of the king. They're trying to solve the murder of the king. There's a basilisk roaming the castle. Just think, you know, Chamber of Secrets. They're trying to find the basilisk. The Beastmaster, she's like, there's a giant snake on the loose. It's gonna start killing people as well. Like, we have like 2 things we have to take care of. Find the murderer. Find the snake. How is the snake tied to the murder? Everything is interconnected, and the story does build to those interconnections. So I do, for the most part, think it is well plotted. I do think it is, for the most part, well paced, even though there are some times where it lags a little too much. I just wish the characterization was stronger, and I wish the story made me more invested in the characters, other than the 3 characters, you know. Outside of those 3 characters, you know, you do have an Achillean relationship that you kind of want to see get developed as well, but it doesn't really get developed. Even at the end, it's like bittersweet. They don't actually get their happily ever after. So even then, I was just like, oh man, come on. Like, you gotta give me something. I was really disappointed that the Achillean couple that is kind of alluded to throughout the entire book doesn't actually get together. Like, that was also like a bitter disappointment for me. But everything does tie together rather nicely. The ending is kind of open-ended, so there is a potential for a sequel. But for the most part, the mystery is solved. It is closed. Everything is, for the most part, tied up very neatly. And again, I think the plot was, you know, well developed. I think it was structured in a way that was easy to follow without giving anything away. Again, I did not see who the murderer was coming. I did not see that coming like a mile away. Caught me completely off guard, which I enjoy. I don't want to always know who the murderer is, like, halfway through the book. I want to be like, oh, I want it to be a jaw-dropping reveal. So it was good. I think it could have been better if the characterization had been stronger for all of the characters. But again, you have like 6 characters, you know, and you're going between all 6 characters. And sometimes that can be a challenge for some writers because you have to like balance so many things on top of making the characters people that the reader needs to be invested in, you know? So ultimately, you know, solid 3 stars, decent book. I enjoyed it. And once again, I want to thank the publisher for giving me an arc of the book. I like the whodunit aspect. I hope that there are more whodunit fantasies in the future. If you have any more whodunit recs, please let me know in the comments below. On that note, thank you all for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your book loving friends. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.